Thanks for joining me as I travel the world, going from fine dining through to street food and local specialties, all in an effort to find the world's best seafood. Hey folks, welcome to a new episode of World's Best Seafood. I'm sorry it's been so long since I did one. Have you missed me? I hope so. I'm going to try and get back on a regular schedule. It won't be weekly, but I hope to pick it up to that level. Today I'm home alone and I went into the fish market today. I was going to make an absolute seafood feast for myself, so I thought why not bring back World's Best Seafood with a homemade edition. Tonight it's going to be all raw except for some prawns that are already cooked. The rest is basically going to be sashimi, a couple of grilled oysters in there as well. So I'm going to prepare it. I've got my sashimi knife all ready to go. Let's get into it. Okay folks, so first things first, let's go through and take a look at all the ingredients I've bought. Like most cities, Sydney has a pretty great fish market. First off, these oysters are from Coffin Bay. They're medium size. Coffin Bay oysters are some of Australia's best. I absolutely love them. I got 4 cheeky little sashimi grade scallops. Here we go. These are 10 medium to large, or no, large size Queensland tiger prawns and a lemon. That was from one shop. Okay, let's move that aside. Here's where things start to get a little bit serious, folks. This is all sashimi grade. This is sashimi salmon. You can see this is slightly fattier. I'm not a huge fan of the super fatty fishes in general, so that one's just fine for me. Then the king of the sashimi fishes, this is tuna. This one is maguro, quite red. This is slightly pinker, slightly fattier, but it's still not an otoro. It'll be towards chutoro, a very slightly fatty tuna. Then we've got the kingfish. And again, I've gone for a very lean piece and then a piece of the belly. You can see that's really quite marbled, quite lovely. Okay, I also got some seaweed salad here. And we've got one last little thing. I say little, but I need to make space for it. Let's move the salmon over here. Another dozen oysters. These are giant Pacific oysters. I already actually stole 2, sorry about that. Just had to, do a quality test on them. These ones are a completely different texture. And for me, having a dozen of these jumbo ones would be too much raw. So I'm actually going to do these cooked. Well, not all of them. I'm not a fan of overly creamy things. And I really generally don't like grilled, the traditional bacon and cheese you get at restaurants. But I'm going to do something a little bit nicer than that. So I've got some Italian prosciutto, the cured ham here. I've had them cut it thicker like they would normal ham instead of the very thin stuff. And then I've got some really mild, nice and creamy bocconcini. So I'm going to dice up a bit of the prosciutto, put that onto probably 6 of these big ones and a couple of the small ones just to see how they go. Tear up a bit of bocconcini and we will grill those. The rest of this I'm just going to have as sashimi. Prawns obviously are already cooked. So let's get into it. Critically, how could I forget, in terms of sake with the dinner, this is one that you can see it's got my name on it. I actually brought it home from my local Japanese restaurant. I've been traveling so much. He said, you're never here, you might as well take it home and drink it and enjoy it. So I'll have that one with the dinner tonight. Otokoyama, this is a junmai. Not terribly expensive, but a reasonably nice one. And as I'm preparing it, a cheeky little champagne. Okay, first up, I'm just gonna put the sashimi to the side. Don't mind that being out of the fridge to get a little bit less chilled. Same with the oysters. We're going to get the things that need a little bit of prep done and out of the way first. Now I'm almost tempted to do a little something with these prawns, but I'm not sure if I will just yet. Okay, first things first, better crack this champers. That'll do it. Okay. Cheers, guys. Oh, that's nice. Okay, so why I went with this instead of bacon, much less greasy. As I say that, I'm gonna pull off this excess fat. I am not using this or the cheese for its fat content. It's the ham is for the saltiness, and this is for the creaminess, but it's not a really heavy flavor. Now, this is a sashimi knife, but it gets so little use, I reckon it can forgive me for using it on the ham as well. You'll notice the tip on this one is gone. I actually broke it doing a filter review of all things on my photography channel. I'll pop a card on screen where you can check that one out. So I have to say, in the same way that I don't claim to be a reviewer on this channel, I'm not nearly an expert in food. I'm a lover. I don't claim to be a chef either. I claim to be a food lover, and I do enjoy cooking. So please don't take this to be me showing off and thinking that I know how to do this better than your average Joe. So I'm just gonna cut this into medium-ish bits. Actually, I reckon that probably should be half that. My eyes are bigger than my stomach, as you can see from my shopping basket. And then let's just, I don't know what you'd call this. A proper chef would know. Well, first of all, they'd probably already be even sizes, but each different cut has its own name and stuff. I'm going to call this the rustically diced. A little taste test. Okay. I'm doing this super cash. I don't want to, for seafood, I think good seafood, you really don't need to do much, right? So I'm going to leave the brine in there. I don't want to lose all of that. That's good stuff. So I'm going to choose the 4 biggest in terms of the actual meat rather than of the shell. Let's see. Oh, look at that little guy. All shell. And you. Do I want 4? No, I might do all 6 of them because these are going to be a bit much to eat all raw. So I'm going to do 6 of these ones. I'll put those aside. Let me get the knife box out of the way. I bought that on my honeymoon, that Japanese knife actually. We did a tour of MasterChef restaurants in Tokyo and toured around Japan, basically eating. You know, Japan actually has more Michelin-starred restaurants and more number 3-star Michelin restaurants. Tokyo has more than Paris, and Japan has more than France. Interesting, huh? So I've cut up way too much ham here as well. Anyway, I'm just going to put a little bit over the top. Actually, no, let's do this the other way. I want that to crisp up. So I'm going to grab the bocconcini. Let's see, so I've got 6 big ones and 3 littles. So let's just start by, we'll say about 2/3 of one for these ones and 1/3 for these ones. Okay, I think I actually need to tear it up properly, otherwise it's just going to fold up on itself. You can't see, but I have a huge smile on my face at the moment. This is like playing with the latest and greatest equipment. And I have never done this before with Parma and bocconcini, so hopefully it tastes and works. The logic works in my head, so let's see. Put some of this over the top. It still has a fat content, so it's still gonna, you know, get a bit crispy, but not like bacon. I really don't get that. And already this, for me, I'm wondering if I'm adding too strong flavors that are gonna overpower the oyster. Big oysters can be shit, to be honest, but I tasted these ones. I bought and ate one there before I committed to buy a dozen, and it was good. So yeah, and you can see I already snuck 2 of these. Okay, and that's going to be a snack for me, I guess. Let's beef them up a little bit, pork them up a little bit. Okay, and the rest of that goes into the human trash compactor. And knowing how much I love Parma ham, I'm going to put this in the fridge. Otherwise that will disappear during the course of this little evening of cooking. So let's just pop these into a baking tray, as long as they stay roughly upright. Oh, and if I were making this for other people, I probably would leave more of that fat on to get it more crispy. To my taste, I don't really love terribly oily foods. I'm not claiming to be any kind of holier than thou when it comes to eating. Obviously I have my own issues, but so that's there. We'll put that in the oven in a second. Okay, so first up, I'm not going to cut all of the salmon yet, because I have a feeling dinner may be too much and the salmon could be fantastic for breakfast. So you can see this is quite thin. It's it's a side section. Interesting thing, when you're cutting sashimi, you cut like this against the grain. When you're cutting for sushi, depending on the fish, they actually cut it differently. And so one movement, and I'm going to make this nice and thick. Again, I do not claim to be any kind of expert. Being a sushi chef is years and years and years of training. But there we go, there's 6 slices of salmon. A little bit of tack straight into the mouth. Open up these scallops. Okay, nice and simple. I'm just going to halve them. And I'll serve them with a piece of lemon in between each. Amazingly, my delightful cat Loki is sitting over there on the chair and not coming to interrupt me. It's a bit strange. Okay, now this is going to be a long piece because of this being the belly. It's the underside of the flap of the animal. So can I do this? Here we go. You can see I'm no pro. I've already cut them at different width. Yep. If my heroes in Tokyo, I've made friends at some sushi bars. If any of you happen to be watching this, I apologize. This is why I come and eat with you guys, because I really don't know what I'm doing to do it at home. And I just eyeball what I think is the good looking piece of fish. I can't really tell in the way that those guys can. Okay, that's a bit too small to serve, don't you think? Just check that it's safe for consumption. I don't want one of my customers getting sick. There you go. That's nice and fresh. Hardly close to Japanese quality, but lovely still. Okay, this is such a big piece. I won't cut this quite as thick. But yeah, I'm still going to cut it fairly thick. Oh, okay. So this has the quite strong sinew through it. Oh well, say la vie. Okay, so I just, that's terrible. Just did a little hatchet job on that. You see the push-pull, and it just all gets messy. This is shocking. I'm ashamed of myself. Oh well, I'm still going to eat it, but feel free to judge me at home. Just know that I'm still enjoying myself. Oh, that's a really terrible job though. Shocking. Okay, the much fattier one now. This, no doubt, is going to cut a lot easier. It's still quite sinewy. Something to note, if you didn't know this already, when you've got your fishing boat, of course, different areas, different fish, different qualities. Let's say these are fish. Okay, so this is our catch of tunas for the day. Each one of these is a fish. So these are crap. That's going to be canned. This is good, that's gonna go for steaks. This is like really good, really good, so that's gonna go to sashimi. That'll go to Japan. That'll go to the rest of the world. This one is rare, amazing, the best in the world. That'll be bought by a special buyer for Japan and go straight to Tokyo without even being considered in this group. If you love sushi sashimi, you need to get your ass to Japan. Okay, so there's my sashimi. I guess I'll plate that up before I open up the prawns. Now again, I'm like a bad photographer blaming his gear. But at a sushi restaurant, they would have so many different garnishes and stuff to work with. I'm gonna, I guess, keep it really simple. I'm not gonna go for any kind of fancy arrangement. Okay, so I want to get a bit of lemon in the works here. So I have all of this kind of cut lemon, which is good for the oysters. But for this guy, for the scallops, I just want some really thin slices to put in between. That's actually going to be all that I need. Actually, one's going to do it. So between each cut one, I'm going to put a little piece of lemon. As I say, not a chef, not a food artist, just a fat Aussie who loves to eat. That should be my tagline. Fat Aussie who loves to eat. Okay, prawns. Let me show you a little express way to do prawns. If they're uncooked, you can stick a needle through here and pull out the whole poo tube if you're gonna do that. For this kind, get your thumb under here and head comes off in one motion. Get your thumb under the back legs, pull forward, all the legs come off, and then in a twist, you've got it taken apart. Then if you're going to do the poo shoot, pulling it the back off is the way to do it. You got to pull that whole back section out and then just, you know, clear it out. Let's do all the rest and let's check. Yeah, that head looks too juicy to leave behind. Hey, whilst I'm doing this menial task, folks, is there any video you'd like to see made? Like, I imagine there's some people who've struggled peeling prawns, so maybe that was helpful. Any videos you'd like to see made? If I don't know the answer, it would be my absolute pleasure to go speak to some seafood experts to find out the answer for you. Okay, I think I'm gonna stick with 6, keep the 4 for later. I think I had planned to serve 6 and figured that I would have picked before now, but the other 4 can go in the fridge. Okay, nothing special here, just a little bit of seafood sauce. This is too big of a bowl, but anyway. And let's go full 80s style on the presentation and drape them over the side. Why not? I can probably amalgamate the 2 trays of oysters and bring the coffin bays onto here. Yeah. Oh, buddy, there's no room for you. Okay, I'll eat you now. Don't feel left out. It's my first of the coffin bays. Still the best. Okay, I'll hang on to that lemon. You never know if you'll need more lemon. Okay, we're getting frighteningly close to ready to eat. First off, I'll throw this tiny little Tabasco. I got this on a plane once. I was walking past the business class section and these were out in the self-serve drinks area. I guess they were being served oysters on the plane. And I don't usually use this with oysters, but you know, when in Rome or when your audience is mostly American, there you go. So let's put these oysters now, these guys, into the grill. Okay, so I'm giving away that I'm also a pizza lover by showing that tray in there. Okay, so in go the oysters. Ooh, they're starting to smell good now. Woo! Apologies, neighbors, be jealous. Let me just turn this around to make sure they're getting even coverage. I reckon 30 more seconds. I don't want to overdo it. Okay, that's going to be it. They don't need to be well done by any means. Ooh la 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 la. Okay, let's go handheld here. There's our grilled oysters, freshies, and then our sashimi. So all the different cuts that I put together there. Oh, now my cat's showing an interest. No, darling. And there's our little prawns. Time to eat this masterpiece. Me, Loki, not you. Okay, friends, here we are. Quiet little dinner alone with my wife away. How am I gonna manage it? As always, you want to make sure you're using real soy sauce. There's so many different kinds of soy sauce. It's not all the same thing, in the same way there isn't one kind of wine. Same ingredient, but all different types. So make sure you get one that's meant for sashimi, or at least for sushi. Pour some sake. I prefer it cold, even though it's winter. And as someone who studied economics and has a half-filled glass of wine that I can't just throw away, I'm reminded of the words attributed to John Maynard Keynes on his deathbed. His final words, "I wish I'd drunk more champagne." So cheers to that. Have my rubbish bowl. Let's do this. Gonna start with some fresh oysters. Let's start with a trio from... That's for you, Keynes. Okay. Let's try my concoction, these cooked ones. Now these are the bigger ones with Italian prosciutto and bocconcini. Yay me, yay me. I think I put too much ham on them. Dice it up even more finely. I think it could be cut a little bit thinner than that as well. It'll crunch up a little bit more. But the intention of the really soft, creamy bocconcini, not a strong flavor, not a fatty tasting cheese, and then the ham being lovely and salty, works a treat. I'm not putting anything else on these. If you want to make a super basic seafood sauce, it sounds weird, but if you like the flavor, a lot of people like this sauce. You get mayonnaise, either the low fat or the whole egg kind. Mix in a bit of ketchup, lemon juice, and raw garlic crushed up, and it's a nice little seafood dressing. It's time to try this sashimi. Oh, sorry, Grandma, just spilt soy sauce all over the table. All right. Cut, gotta clean that. Let's try that again, shall we? Kanpai. Okay, so traditional Japanese chopsticks are slippery little suckers. The disposable ones are easier to use because you've got a lot more grippage. It's really hard to go wrong with salmon. Much easier to get sashimi grade, generally cheaper. There's just a lot of great salmon out there. Okay, let's try the maguro giant slices. I reckon it's about on par with a medium quality restaurant in Sydney. It's or like a super express train in Tokyo. It's fine, the flavor's there, but the sinew is really a bit much. Hey Loki, I see you. How about these scallops? They're surprisingly excellent. Great texture. Nice mild flavor. Maybe I'm suffering sandwich syndrome. Have you ever noticed that when you make a sandwich for yourself, it's never great, But when anyone else makes you a sandwich, it seems better than anything you could make. Maybe this is the same thing. It all seems fine quality, but the flavor is just not hitting me. Could be the presentation, could be the little dressings they add in a restaurant, or it could be just the, I wish someone had prepared it for me. Whew. I'm hardly dented it and I'm feeling the burn. I'm going to the gym, trying to eat less. Maybe my tolerance is down. The only reason to go to the gym is so you can eat whatever you want. This is silly. I suspect somebody's going to be having sashimi for brunch tomorrow. More sake, greater-son. Oh, yes, thank you. Hey. I'm calling it early. Not that I'm done, but that the things I'm sure I'm not going to eat, I'm going to put in the fridge because I want to make sure that I don't waste anything and I can eat it tomorrow. So, doggy bag. I'm like a human pelican. His eyes can eat more than his belly can. And this to get glad wrapped so I don't put it to waste. Pretty sure I still have a bit of liquid space though. Ugh. Okay folks, I'm going to plug away at this. Please let me know what you'd like to see in future videos. I am going to try, I've actually filmed a bunch around the world that I have the content, I just need to put it together. It's just a matter of finding time. I'm on such a schedule with my main YouTube channel on photography that when shit hits the fan and everything's really busy and something has to give, it routinely is this one. So don't feel bad for me. It's not that I haven't been eating seafood. I'll see you guys soon. Let me know what you'd like to see. Bye.